Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. I don't know why that's doing that. Move. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today is the executive producer of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. She's the Duchess of the Dork. She's Ashley Pickle.
Howdy, friends.
Hello,
Happy
Ashley Pickle.
Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. Today is Monday, August 15th, 2022. 101 days till Thanksgiving. Happy 33rd birthday to Boban Marjanovic. Episode 1435. On today's show, friends, we've got headlines from across the state, including we'll get you caught up on one of the more kind of controversial Texas high school football topics of the past couple of weeks. And it's ranking season in Texas in college football, and so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then back half of the show, we had the annual State of the Vipers address with Austin Vandegrift head coach Drew Sanders, the winningest coach in Vandegrift history. We talked with him. We'll hear from him coming up here at the back half of the program. So a lot to get to here on this here Monday extravaganza. Let's start with some headlines from across the state. There are a few different things going on. Not all of them good. Let's talk a little bit about some injuries that have come down, some pretty significant ones that have reportedly come down for the Texas Longhorns. They had a scrimmage of some kind. I want to say, it's practice, scrimmage, whatever it was. They had they were playing football this weekend, and this weekend did not go great for Texas on the injury front, as apparently there are multiple reports saying that junior wide receiver Isaiah Nair and senior offensive lineman Junior Angelau. So it's a senior whose name is Junior, but Junior Angelau have both suffered season-ending knee injuries.
Man.
Over the weekend. Nair was supposed to be basically the number 2 receiver for Texas.
Yep.
Xavier Worthy is going to be the 1, and then he was going to kind of be opposite him. So now Jordan Whittington probably going to have to step up even further. Guys like Savion Red and Brennan Thompson, Troy Omieri, there was also there was the kid from Angier, I forget his name, the transfer from Alabama. But he's been suspended right now. He was Texas wide receiver suspended.
They've got 2 Alabama guys?
I'm sorry, AGA Hall was suspended. We don't really know what's going on there. Oh, it says he did $600 in damage to a vehicle boot and was arrested by an officer. So he was charged with
booted.
His car got booted, and he tried to rip it off the car, and he got charged with criminal mischief. So he has been.
That's a heck of a charge,
suspended.
man.
It's a very Austin thing to do.
Yeah.
Very Austin thing to happen.
I was gonna say that's just a college thing anywhere.
So he's been suspended indefinitely. I would imagine he's not going to be out all that long for something like that, but you never know. So the receiver position takes a big blow. The other tough part is the injury to Junior Angelau. This is a guy who was a 5th-year starter, 34 starts to his name. He was supposed to start there at left guard essentially. It looks like it'll probably be freshman Devin Campbell or Cole Hudson to take over there at guard. This is obviously pretty tough news there for Texas. They did not have a great weekend there. Staying in the college football ranks. There were a couple of we've got some rankings out. We're going to start with the one that came out last week, which is the coaches poll, the USA Today coaches poll, and 4 in-state teams were ranked in the coaches poll to start the year. Texas A&M came in at 7. Baylor came in at 10. Texas came in at 18, and Houston came in at 25. That's the coaches poll. In fact, Texas did get a first place vote, believe it or not.
Yeah, something. Okay, was that a misfire or was someone trolling?
I don't know. If you think they're the best team in the country, then you rank them number 1.
Nah.
If you're a coach. But remember, that's the
wrong.
coaches poll. It's the coaches poll. It's all 130 FBS teams that submit their coaches.
Was it Sark?
I don't know. That is private from what I understand.
Uh-huh.
You can't necessarily tell, but yes, they did. Anyway, that's the coaches poll. The AP poll just came out moments ago, and the AP poll is a little bit different, just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Texas A&M was 7 in the coaches poll. They're 6 in the AP poll.
Okay, 1 spot.
Baylor was 10 in the coaches poll. 10 in the in
spot
there,
on.
Spot on. Houston was 25 in the coaches poll.
Mm-hmm.
24 in the AP poll.
Okay.
Texas, 18th in the coaches poll. Unranked in the AP poll. Unranked. They are de facto 27. If you go to the also receiving votes and you count, they are de facto 27.
Oof.
But yeah, they are behind BYU grabs 25th spot, Tennessee at 26, and then Texas at 27.
So apparently that first place ranking in the coaches poll pulled some weight there.
I was going to say
bumped up their numbers.
Very interesting. So some significant movement there in the rankings there. So that's the latest rankings. Let's talk a little bit. There have been some other, news and notes. We talked a little bit about, or if you listen to Republic of Football, they talk a little bit about SMU with their the Boulevard Collective that's going to give all their players $32,000. That's kind of in after Texas Tech said they were going to give all their players $25,000.
Yeah.
That's going on. Of course, listen to Republic of Football for more on that. I do want to get into this because we haven't actually.
Also, Tanner Mordecai was named the starting quarterback, by the way, at SMU. If you're interested in
that.
That's not super surprising, but there was an actual race to get there.
Sure, absolutely. And so then let's get to this. And this was a story that came out a couple weeks ago, but we haven't been able to tackle it. We haven't had an opportunity, and it concerns the Alto Yellow Jackets. So Alto. Here's the full story, as I understand it, because part of it has certainly played out in public. Alto is a team that when realignment came out in February, they were slotted into District 11 2A Division 2.
Yep.
District 11 2A Division 2, an enrollment of 163 teams there with the Tenahas, the Price Carlisles, the Cushings of the world.
163 students.
163 students, I should say.
I was like, 163 team district. That's news to me.
163 students in Alto High School.
Mm-hmm.
They're placed in 11 2A Division 2. And we have them finishing third. We have them ranked third in that district. A playoff team are the Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets, and by the way, they have their third coach in 3 seasons, Brock Grigsby, who is most recently the offensive coordinator at center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
cool.
Call him a sleeper, maybe in Region 3.
Sounds good.
So there was big news a couple weeks ago when Alto was ruled by the state UIL state executive committee that they would be ineligible for any district-wide awards, I think is the way they phrase it, for the 2022 season. That functionally what that really means is that they're going to be ineligible to make the playoffs.
Yes.
In 2022. And the reason is that they ruled that the school turned in an incorrect enrollment number.
By, I believe, 3 kids?
So here's what I understand happened, and this is on the record in a public meeting. You can go watch it on the UIL website if you want. From what I understand, they had 3 students that enrolled prior to Snapshot Day, and somebody at Alto goosed the numbers and said, you know what if we backdate their enrollment to November 2nd after Snapshot Day. So basically, they won't count in our snapshot. These 3 students were apparently on campus taking classes before Snapshot Day, but they fudged the paperwork and said, oh, no, they enrolled on November 2nd. So they wouldn't do it. And perhaps you're thinking, why does that matter? Who cares about 3 kids? The reason is, with an enrollment of 163, they're a 2A Division II team.
Mm-hmm.
The cutoff is 164.5.
Which means that the 3 kids would push them over that. And
it would have pushed
2A
them
Division
2A Division 1. And so the word is, so basically the UIL looked at that and said, all right, the punishment for that is that you are ineligible for the playoffs.
And I believe it's for the next 2 years, correct?
So we'll get into that.
Okay.
I do want to address that because that is going around.
I think it's for this realignment period.
It could be.
Okay.
I'll explain. I want to start with this: that there's been people who have said, "Well, that's super harsh punishment. You're punishing the kids for the mistakes of the adults," which is 100% true.
Yeah,
that's 100% true. That is happening. The players are being punished for something that the adults did,
which stinks, especially for the juniors and seniors.
From the UIL perspective, you have to think of it in the sense of this is as close to a cardinal sin as you can do, simply because the realignment process works on the system of trust. That everyone has to turn in their numbers accurately because it's all an interlocking thing. Because the teams that are getting screwed here are the teams that otherwise there would have been 1 or 2 teams that would have been 2A Division II if Alto had turned in a number. It's not just about Alto, it's how they fit into the entire realignment ecosystem. Okay? And so to your point about is it for the next 2 years? They are ineligible, undoubtedly ineligible for 2022. In 2023, they would be eligible for the 2A Division I playoffs if they were to compete in 2A Division I. But there's only one path for that to happen. And that is everyone in their current district must agree to release them from the district, and everyone in the district they want to join has to agree to take them on. It has to be unanimous on both sides. That if they want to go from, I'm not looking at it right now, let's say they want to go from District 11 2A Division II to District 11 2A Division I, every school in both those districts would have to say, yes, we're good with that.
And
at which point then they could compete.
Highly unlikely to me.
It seems like there could be some flies in the ointment. And only one team has to say, I don't want to travel that far. No, I don't want to add these teams. No, this team, no, I don't want to do that.
Well, and the other thing is people are going, oh, well, when you say that it takes away from the kids, like we said, that's 100% right. But you also have to think of it in the aspect of if they were to just turn a blind eye to this and say, oh, well, Alto's third in their district, it really won't have that much of an effect, then what's stopping perennial powerhouse programs from doing that? So it's kind of like if you don't get them in trouble right now, then you've lost all. It's like when a ref loses control of a game almost.
In many respects, like, this is more or less just laid out in the UIL Constitution. Like, this is the penalty for doing that.
Yep.
And
it's like your one job throughout the year to not mess this up.
And it exists. I think, in my opinion, this is now me editorializing. I agree it is harsh. I think that it is intentionally so to be a deterrent
from doing this.
For schools doing it.
Because if you don't punish the people that are doing it right now, then it's going to turn into a madhouse of people doing this and saying, well, they didn't get in trouble for doing it, so why do we get in trouble for doing it?
And so it was a whole thing. They had the superintendent and I want to say the superintendent. They copped to it and they said, yes, that's exactly what happened. Apparently there was some sort of the person who had done it has been fired and things like that, and they more or less threw themselves at the mercy of the UIL, and the UIL said, we basically don't have a choice. Like, you've done this. You've essentially sullied the entire realignment process, and so as a result, this is the only punishment we can take. So Alto will miss the playoffs for just the second time since 2003 and just the third time since 1991 as a result of this. It's an unfortunate situation. I think everybody agrees.
Especially for the kids.
I think everybody agrees it's an unfortunate situation. It is sadly just the way that things are and the way that things have to be.
There's some rules that you can't break.
That is right. It's as close to a cardinal sin as you can get. And so, as a result, Alto found out the hard way. Alto will not be in the playoffs for 2022. 2023 remains to be seen. Anyway, there are some headlines from across the state of Texas. We are Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Hope you'll consider becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. 2 magazines and a year's worth of exclusive online content, including the 6A preview of Tep and Step. More than an hour and a half on Tep and Step on Class 6A. If you want to get into that, get that in your life, TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Let me tell you a little bit about our friends at Athletes to Athletes. Every player wants to play, wants to achieve. How's that thing start? Hold on, I've only read 100 times.
Okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, I'll try again.
And
3. See, the problem is too much time has passed since you sent this to me. Every high school athlete wants to play on the big stage, and every parent wants their child to be the best. But is making your target list of schools based on top 25 rankings really the best strategy? What about academics or location, coaching style, financial aid? There's so many different factors that should be considered when selecting a college program outside of just on-field performance. Our friends at Athletes to Athletes have put together a recruiting guide centered around providing a broader, more holistic perspective about what your college experience could be. It's got checklists, it's got key strategies, do's and don'ts, much more. This is a 22-page guide that covers everything you and your family should know as you walk through your college recruiting. And here's the best part. For a limited time, Athletes to Athletes is offering this guide for free to our audience. All you've got to do is go to athletetoathletes.com/Dave Campbell to download the free college recruiting guide. That's athletetoathletes.com/Dave Campbell. And now a word from our friends at VCR Now.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Football season's right around the corner. Next week, believe it or not.
yeah.
And so we're getting ready for the season. One program that is no stranger to deep playoff runs, the Austin Vandegrift Vipers. We had our annual conversation with Drew Sanders, the State of the Vipers address at THSEA Coaching School and Convention. Here's my conversation with Austin Vandegrift head coach Drew Sanders here on Texas Football Today.
Greg Tepper, Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com here at the THSEA Coaching School and Convention in San Antonio, here with our annual State of the Vipers address with the head coach of the Vandegrift Vipers. It's Coach Drew Sanders.
Go Vipers.
Boy, we've been doing this. This has got to be like the 6th time we've done this.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Probably since we've been in 6A, I think. We've been
Absolutely, at least then. I mean, I just remember essentially like every year it's like put on your schedule. It's like, you know, Drew Sanders going to stop by and we'll whip him for 10 minutes. Okay, let's go back to 2021, which I have to imagine is a good topic for you. I mean, a run to the regional finals, and a really, I would say, not that you guys haven't had great years before, but a real breakout year for your program at the 6A level. I'm interested now that we've had time elapse. When you look back on that 2021 season, how do you assess what you guys were able to do?
You know, it's great to be able to make it to the 4th round in the 6A. I mean, that's the thing that people that haven't coached in every A is different, but I've coached in 4A all the way to 6A, and it's like once you get to the playoffs, it's a whole nother animal. The depth of people's O-lines and D-lines, and then almost I'd say everybody has at least 2 Division I guys on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you know, it's very difficult to advance. So I'm pleased to be able to get to fourth round. That's the second year in a row we've been able to do that. And so I'm pleased with that. And, that's 4 years in a row we've had double-digit wins. So, that's hard to do in 6A. Really, any A.
You're talking about 10-plus wins 4 years in a row. That's a class that doesn't take long to call a roll. You know what I mean? It's impressive. There are programs where that would be enough, and that everybody in the program would say, guys, mission accomplished, thumbs up. Do you get the feeling, do you get the vibe within the program that they are of the belief that there's another step to take, and that they're not satisfied, basically?
Yeah, for sure. We've got a great bunch of kids, starting with our quarterback, Braden, who I did his home visit the other day. We go into every one of our players' homes before the season, and was sitting with his parents, and he set a goal. He's like, I want to make it to the semifinals, and we'll reset the goal. I think our kids are realistic, but they also have big dreams, and they understand how hard it is. Everybody says state champ. It's hard to win a state title, so why don't we set for, let's get to the fifth round as a 6A program, and then we'll kind of reset and go from there, you know. And so, I do think it's realistic, and I do think that people are wanting to go further.
Well, and you mentioned Braden Buchanan, and here's a guy who last year was just spectacular for you, and coming back in his senior year, a guy who I think has really taken a step in his development. You're the guy, the film's impressive and the numbers are impressive, but you're the guy who sees him in the locker room, in the weight room, in the classroom. What is it about him that sets him apart? Because you've had good quarterbacks in the past.
I have.
And you've been blessed with good quarterbacks. Feels like you plucked another one off the tree.
Yeah, Braden, we've known Braden since he was in 8th grade, and he committed as a 9th grader to play college baseball at Baylor.
Yeah.
So we've known he was a special athlete the entire time. Played on varsity as a sophomore, as a fullback, and did whatever we needed him to do. I think Braden's improvement has been tremendous. I think he threw for 40 touchdowns or something crazy last year. His accuracy has gone off the charts, where when he doesn't throw a good pass, we're kind of like, is everything okay? And I'm not taking that for granted for sure, because we've had years where that hasn't been the case, He's been tremendous, but his leadership has been just next level. I've had great leaders before him. Drew Dawson's another guy that came through, and I think Drew lost 2 games his entire varsity career in 2 years. And so and then he just picked right back up as a great leader like Drew was. And on top of that, he's a really big kid, and so he can run the ball well. And so we're excited about using that, obviously, in key moments, key situations, because we've got to, make sure he's healthy too. But his leadership has taken next level.
Well, the other guy who's going to help with all that, especially, talk short yardage and keeping your boy clean, you've got an absolute war daddy up front in Ian Reed. This kid is he's a monster.
Yeah.
Like I flip on his tape, and he's just picking people and throwing them across the field. It is a shocking film to put on sometimes. This guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, all the college coaches thought so too. He had everybody coming through. I've never been more popular in my life, as a coach. But he committed to Clemson, and so was going to play for Dabo, and that was kind of cool to get a text from Dabo. He was excited about him, so that was neat. But Ian is 6'6", legit 6'6", legitimate over 300 pounds, and can move. He played basketball, and you're not going to believe this, but he plays rugby. His dad's a rugby coach.
Oh my!
He carries the ball. He carries the ball. So can you imagine how many kids' lives he ends every Saturday when he carries the ball?
Now, okay, then that brings up another question. Short yardage back, Ian Reed.
You know what? I hope Ian is not watching this, because he would be like, yes, let's do it. So, you know what? We'll talk to Coach Mauser. He's pretty critical. We maybe have a trick play where we might throw him the ball. So we'll see what that looks like. And then we've got another, I don't know if you know this, but it happened pretty recently, but we got another tackle that's been offered Division I, a guy named Blake Frazier. It's just a junior. He just got offered by Michigan, Texas A&M, and a couple other schools. So he's 6'5", and about 270, and his dad played at Michigan. So we're excited. So our tackles will be as big as anybody in the state.
Yeah, you're in good shape there. Defensively, couple guys back who are really important to your defense. Over the course of last season, it felt like maybe up until you ran into one of the greatest high school football teams we've ever seen, the defense really led the way. How are we feeling about our defense heading into 2022?
Yeah, if I take out the Westlake game, which a lot of people would take that game out, we gave up
about
12 points.
Not fair.
No. Westlake was a different level last year, and hats off to them.
Yeah.
And Coach Dodge, too. But we gave about 12, 13 points a game in the 6A realm. I think that's pretty impressive, or even more impressive. So we were pleased with our defensive development. We've got Alex Foster back, who is just going to be a junior. We've got Andrew Scott back, who was a safety that played really well for us, and will do a great job. We got Damian Wimberly back, who's picked up several offers, an SMU commit, so we're pleased with him. A kind of a hard worker kind of guy, Oliver Yendo, is back. And then we've got some key pieces. We'll have all 3 new linebackers in our broken stack we play, but they're all hitters, runners. We feel good about it. We think we got a good defensive tradition, so I hope these guys will step up and do it.
Finally, you are, as we've mentioned many times before, you're the winningest coach in Vandegrift history.
Thank you for bringing that up. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome for knowing that. You are the winningest coach in Vandegrift history. I want to know how the funding for the Drew Sanders statue is going. Is it going well? Do we need to get the word out more? Do we pass the hat?
I love this idea.
Pass the hat.
What's funny is, so I got 3 kiddos, and I got 2 older boys playing at UMHB. We talked about that. And then I've got a little girl who's going now. She's going to be a 9th grader. Well, when she was in about 4th grade, they were building a staircase, to make egress to the field better at Monroe Stadium. So we're out and we're hanging out, and Sadie's like, "What's that for?" And she's about 4th or 5th grade, and I said it was for my statue. And a couple other coaches were right there with us, and so they immediately chipped right in. The bad part is, that's funny in itself. But the bad part is Sadie went to school bragging to her classmates about my statue.
To my dad.
And then when she found out, that wasn't good. That wasn't true. So you know what? Maybe in 20 years, 30 years, who knows? Right now, unfortunately, maybe I should draw some plans up.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I should probably start.
You get that, and then, because people have to visualize what they're giving to. You know what I mean?
I put it out to the school board. I put it out to my soup, and maybe I just send them an email with
just send me a plan. This is what I was thinking. Open to constructive criticism, stuff like that.
I like the idea. So I may send you what
I love it. I love it.
It'll be my rendering.
We'll get your rendering of that. Okay. So then, overall, this is the end of the State of the Vipers address. Is it fair to say the State of the Vipers is strong?
It's strong. It is strong. We've got a bunch of guys coming up from we had actually all of our teams, one district are tied for district. So we got a lot of talent coming up, too. We're excited.
He's Drew Sanders, head coach, the winningest coach in Vandegrift history. Coach, appreciate your time, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Drew Sanders, the Austin Vandegrift head coach, winningest coach in Austin Vandegrift history. Join us here on THSC at Coaching School. We got high hopes for them.
Yep.
In large part because they're going to go D2.
Mm-hmm.
Are they? Let me see if I can do some quick math. Are they locked into D2? They are not. No, they could go D1 if Manor, Cedar Park, Vista Ridge, and Round Rock McNeil. If 2 of those teams get in, then they would go D1. Now, we presently don't project that, and that would mean essentially like Cedar Ridge would have to miss the playoffs, or like Round Rock would have to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, that doesn't seem likely.
That seems like they would be but you never know.
Yeah.
If they go D2, I think they're a real threat.
Yes.
Like a real threat to win the region. So keep an eye on Vandegrift. We always appreciate Drew Sanders' time. And that's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Austin Vandegrift head coach Drew Sanders for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.